Live from KSAT 12, the Nightbeat starts right now.
A ceremony marking a loss of life to gun violence. What was supposed to be a San Antonio girl's 7th birthday becomes a day to raise awareness. The rise in deaths and how one family is trying to turn their grief into action. But first, San Antonio set to see a change in rain chances within the next 24 hours.
Meteorologist Adam Caskey tracking that change and a separate weather event that will likely impact us, Tropical Storm Pamela.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of moisture from the Pacific, at least in the mid and upper levels of the atmosphere, and then we'll get a lot of energy left over upper levels of the atmosphere from what is now Tropical Storm Pamela. So this is just south of Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. And the latest stats with this that just came in from the Hurricane Center, still a high-end tropical storm, max sustained winds of 70 miles per hour, some gusts up to 85. It's likely to briefly become a hurricane tonight on into the early morning hours tomorrow as it makes landfall somewhere near Mazatlan, Mexico. And notice how it quickly dissipates, winds of only 35 miles per hour by 7 p.m. tomorrow evening. So by Wednesday, it's in northern Mexico. The mountains really start shredding it apart. However, the mid and upper level moisture from that remains intact, along with energy left over from the system. Upper level energy that provides us lift to generate showers and storms. And the trajectory of that, the remnants and the leftovers, well, are headed toward our area by tomorrow night. That's when we're expecting the main event for our showers and storms. But I think we could have some rain for the morning commute tomorrow. I'll talk about that. Time out these showers and storms, tell you the primary threats. And we even have a cold front to talk about after all this rain coming up. Steve.
Thank you, Adam. State-sanctioned sabotage. The U.S. Justice Department using those words to describe Texas' latest abortion law. The Biden administration making its case against Texas in the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals. Last week's ruling from the appeals court temporarily reinstated the abortion law in Texas as the court reviews the case. The law bans abortions in the state around the 6-week mark of pregnancy. It also allows private citizens to file lawsuits against those they believe violate the measure. The Biden administration argues that the legal structure is allowed to stand. The same tactic could be used to get around other constitutional rights. The appeals court is giving the state until Thursday to respond to the arguments by the U.S. This case could eventually make its way back to the Supreme Court.
New tonight, more than 1,000 children under 17 have been killed due to gun violence within the past year, and that number is rising. The concerning statistic released by an organization that tracks shootings nationwide. The Night Team's Jeffany Gray spoke with the family of a little girl who was shot and killed earlier this year. They're turning their grief into action in hopes of saving other children from gun violence.
Happy birthday, Soraya! She's still going to be with us. She's going to be with her mom. She's going to be with her dad and her brothers.
Cynthia Alvarez celebrated what would have been her granddaughter's 7th birthday Tuesday evening at the Pearl. The family held a balloon release for Soraya Perez, a child killed by gun violence on Mother's Day. Since then, Alvarez has been on a mission to raise awareness about gun violence through an organization she started in honor of Soraya called Soraya Liana's Blessings.
We know we can't stop all the guns out there, but we will try. And we will fight extra hard for her.
The Gun Violence Archive found the U.S. saw just below 1,000 gun violence deaths among people 17 or younger in 2019. In 2020, that number jumped to nearly 1,400. It's a trend officials fear is worsening. This year alone, the organization says there's been nearly 1,200 deaths and nearly 3,300 kids injured.
It's alarming. And so that's one of the reasons that, programs like ours is so important.
Milton Harris is the executive director of 100 Black Men of San Antonio Incorporated, a nonprofit that provides mentorship to kids and young adults in San Antonio.
A large demographic of the young people that we work with, especially in our youth build program, they're high school dropouts. And for many of the young males, they feel the only opportunity for them is being on the street and hustling.
He says his organization has made a major impact on the community, helping the youth graduate high school and enter the workforce at a 95% success rate. On average, he serves 60 kids and young adults per year in their Youth Build program. He feels one of the biggest ways to crack down on gun violence is by teaching the younger generation to value life.
If we don't love and value ourselves, we're not going to love and value anyone else.
Now, Soraya Liana's blessing is still waiting to be granted nonprofit status, but their work is already underway. They've created a fund to help other families who have lost a child to gun violence. Now, to learn more about their mission or the mission of 100 Black Men of San Antonio, you can visit the story on our website at KSAT.com. Japhanie Gray, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Japhanie. Now to an update on the pandemic here at home. The positivity rate hovering around 3% tonight, keeping the risk level in the mild category. 2 new COVID-19 related deaths were confirmed. 438 COVID-19 patients are hospitalized. Health experts reminding San Antonio that 83% of those patients do not have the vaccine. 151 of them are in the intensive care unit and 65 are on ventilators. There's some pushback against a new executive order prohibiting COVID-19 vaccine mandates. Governor Greg Abbott announcing the ban for all entities in the state just months after he advocated for business rights. Listen to what the governor said back in March.
If businesses want to limit capacity or implement additional safety protocols, they have the right to do so. It is their business, and they get to choose to operate their business the way they want to.
The White House and political analysts responding to the change in messaging from the governor. The Night Team's Patty Santos with why this back and forth could hurt the governor politically.
Steve, this is a clash that also had city and county leaders reacting. Mayor Ron Nirenberg describing Governor Abbott's statement as political theater. Bexar County Judge Nelson Wolf says if the legislator wanted to protect Texans, the governor's emergency powers should be taken away. Governor Greg Abbott said the COVID-19 vaccine should be a choice, but it's a choice he's taken away from businesses and other organizations. The executive order follows President Joe Biden's order to require companies with 100 or more employees to get their workers vaccinated or do weekly testing. And as you might remember, last summer, Governor Abbott gave local businesses the choice to decide if they would require masks in their stores. Now, some criticize the governor's back and forth on where he stands on individual and business rights. Other political pundits say the governor's behavior is splitting the Republican Party.
Just about 2 weeks ago, the governor was saying that state government and no government should be getting in the business of telling businesses how to run their shops. And now he's saying the opposite. Look, this is about Republican Party primary politics, so plain and simple.
He's trampling on the rights of free enterprise. He's trampling on the right of a company to protect not only their employees, but their customers. He's flying in the face of the president's executive order.
And with Texas lawmakers gearing up for a third special session and redistricting still in the works, some fear the politics is getting in the way of actual work being done. San Antonio ISD is requiring all employees to be vaccinated by this Friday if they want to keep their jobs. And the White House press secretary says more than 700,000 lives have been lost in the U.S. because of COVID-19. They say the focus needs to be on saving lives and ending this pandemic. Myra?
All right, thank you, Patty. Pfizer already has permission to roll out its COVID-19 booster shot. Moderna now set to meet with the U.S. Food and Drug Administration's vaccine advisors for its booster this week. That booster dose would include 50 micrograms instead of the 100 used in the 2-dose vaccine originally. Moderna says this would increase protection against coronavirus and keep the COVID-19 vaccine supply higher. Johnson & Johnson, meantime, also hoping to meet with the FDA soon over its COVID-19 booster doses as well.
New tonight, the defenders uncovering new legal developments surrounding the former treasurer of a booster club for the East Central Independent School District. She's already accused of taking money from the club, but that's not the only case against her. In a separate legal matter, Ashley Ring is taking a plea deal. In this separate case, Ring indicted on a theft charge and misapplication of fiduciary property. She pled no contest in the case, but as part of the plea deal, she could avoid prison. That would be possible if she pays back the full amount of restitution of more than $200,000 by her sentencing hearing on January 18th. She faces a maximum of 10 years in prison. The Bexar County Medical Examiner working to identify a man hit and killed by a train. It happened around 5 this evening on West Almost near San Pedro. Witnesses told police the man was pushing a cart across some railroad tracks when that cart got stuck. Investigators say the man was able to work the cart free from the tracks, but was then struck by the train. He's believed to be in his late 50s or 60s.
Are changes needed at the Bexar County Jail? Some fresh eyes will be taking a closer look at jail operations. It's a review that Sheriff Javier Salazar says that he welcomes. He's the one who hired the jail consultant to look at how this facility is run. Sheriff Salazar admitted that COVID-19 and staffing shortages are part of the challenges when it comes to running the jail. Salazar also pointing to the example of a man who remained at the jail for months, even after a judge ordered his release. Now Salazar says an audit is conducted daily to make sure that doesn't happen again.
I think part of the problem is we were relying too much on the paper system that we still have in some parts of the jail, although we've made some strides with regard to technology. But again, that's what this consultant should help us come in and look at all of our processes and say, hey, this other county, in East Texas is doing it this way to avoid situations like this.
It's not clear when this consultant will visit the Bexar County Jail. The sheriff's office did say the review will be paid for using asset forfeiture funds. Just days before reaching the debt ceiling, a new deal reached. The new timeline Congress is now facing before another potential financial crisis.
Plus, new findings in the Gabby Petito case. The work helping law enforcement in its investigation coming out.
And police and federal agents surrounding a U.S. postal facility in Tennessee. Multiple people killed in this latest round of gun violence. The investigation that is now underway. Next on the Nightbeat. A U.S. postal facility turned crime scene near Memphis, Tennessee. The FBI now helping in the investigation, but little known so far. We do know the shooting took place in a building used by U.S. postal employees. 2 workers were killed. The FBI also confirming details on the suspected shooter.
And I can tell you the FBI is working the scene and can confirm that the shooter is one of the 3 employees deceased by an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound, and the investigation is ongoing.
Identities were not released and still no word on a motive. A white car was towed away from the scene. Authorities say this is the 3rd high-profile shooting in the Memphis area in weeks.
The new findings released in the Gabby Petito case. A coroner in Wyoming saying the 22-year-old woman was strangled. That report estimates she died about 3 to 4 weeks before her body was found at the Grand Teton National Park. Law enforcement took DNA samples from her remains to help them solve this case. Before she was killed, Gabby and her fiancé Brian Laundrie were on a cross-country trip. Laundrie eventually returned to Florida without Petito. Investigators searching for her fiancé still have not been able to find him.
A deal to move the debt ceiling finally reached. Both the House and Senate reaching that deal to extend the nation's debt limit through early December. This extension is now clear for President Biden's signature. Raising the debt limit, not an approval for new spending, but it is a measure that allows the nation to meet financial obligations for money it's already spent. The December deadline for the debt limit is around the same time a new spending bill would need to be passed to avoid a separate issue known as a government shutdown.
And back here at home, a campground that's attracting people from all across the country. Morgan's Wonderland Camp sits on the northern outskirts of San Antonio. It welcomes people of all ages, all abilities. It's a place that a guy named Devin Harrigan can enjoy as he lives with a condition that affects his spine.
He used crutches and a wheelchair. This gave him more stuff to be able to do because he always wanted to do everything all the other children are doing.
The camp sits on more than 100 acres. Activities include zip lining, swimming, basketball, rock climbing. It's an amazing place. Look at the smile on little Devin's face.
Yeah, puts a smile on your face, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the weather. Take a look outside with live cam tonight. We got some rounds of rain headed our way, and a lot of people asking about the timing of all of this, Adam.
Yeah, and that's always the tricky part when we're trying to time out the little disturbances coming over the mountains of Mexico. But here's some of the main points I want to get across to you before we jump into the timing and all those details and how much rain could fall and where. First of all, most of the rain that we're going to get is likely to be tomorrow night on into the very early morning hours on Thursday. That hasn't changed. At that point, some severe storms are possible. However, hail, not a big threat with this. It would mainly be some localized gusty winds and, of course, the potential for some flash flooding. A cold front then hits us behind all this activity and changes things drastically for the weekend. So a lot to talk about here. Let's get right to it, starting with a look at the radar tonight. And there's some heavy shower activity just outside of Pearsall, not far from I-35. We're talking Frio County moving toward Atascosa County, and thereafter into Bexar County. We'll continue to have these hit or miss showers, or hit and miss showers, as we go through the night tonight, and I think especially as we get into the morning commute tomorrow. So here's the big picture. Next little batch of energy just outside of Laredo, and that's starting to flare up these storms just west of Webb County. That'll be our next batch to move in later on tonight. So we'll have some of these showers and storms coming and going, but it's not the main event. A lot of activity up and down the plains from the Canadian border, even down through the Rockies and on into western Mexico. So what we have right here in our upper level wind flow is just a funnel from the Pacific Ocean. And of course, there happens to be a lot of moisture there as a result of Tropical Storm Pamela. That's all getting funneled our way, and not just the moisture we're talking 15,000 feet and above, but also a lot of energy and some leftover energy from what's now Tropical Storm Pamela making landfall tonight. So let's talk about it with our Futurecast. I like this newest computer model and what it shows. It does have some heavy activity, mainly in the hill country tonight. I wouldn't be surprised if that's a little closer to San Antonio or some locations just west of I-35. But what I want to really focus on here is a damp morning commute. I think the odds are rising and starting to favor more delays tomorrow morning during the morning commute as that next burst of energy comes out of Mexico. Then it calms down a little bit tomorrow midday through the afternoon, just some hit or miss showers. So tomorrow morning, I do anticipate some fairly widespread showers and storms, but the main event coming tomorrow night into very early Thursday. That's when we'll get most of the energy from the remnants of Pamela and more organized showers and storms. This is midnight Thursday morning. With that could be some localized pockets of severe thunderstorms, mainly just some isolated high wind gusts, and of course the potential for flash flooding. This is likely to impact us all the way through the Thursday morning commute before we clear out. We could easily see an additional 3 to 5 inches. I think some parts of our area could see 5 to 7 inches of rain before it's all said and done. So of course, flash flood watch is taking effect soon. Really quickly, I want to talk about temperatures and humidity. Today we topped out at 87, but it was very sticky outside. Dew point is 74, very muggy. That changes. I mentioned that Friday cold front. That's going to sweep away the humidity for Friday evening and the entire weekend. So we'll have a bout of heavy rainfall tomorrow morning, then again, especially tomorrow night. Cold front hits on Friday, and this weekend, that's the payoff. Sunny, cooler, less humid. So that 60% chance of showers for the morning commute tomorrow, 76 degrees, still very sticky during the day tomorrow. And then just some widely separated showers and storms tomorrow afternoon and evening. But notice here with those rain chances, tomorrow night around midnight, give and take several hours, that's when we'll have our main event around here. And then by the weekend, I mentioned those cooler temperatures. Look at that, sunny, highs in the 70s Saturday and Sunday.
That is going to be awesome. Thanks, Adam.
All right, one of the Cowboys linemen loses in court today.
Yeah, and I'm kind of curious why he decided to pursue this, given the fact he was already on the downside of his suspension. We're talking about Lael Collins. When we come back, we'll let you know what the judge decided, and the Astros are headed to the American League Championship Series. Let's go, Dusty. There you go. Our San Antonio Spurs have just 4 days left of training camp of the preseason before they tip off the NBA regular season next week. Without question, the Spurs' biggest move to date has been, since starting training camp, is in the waiving of first-round draft pick Lukas Samanic following the Spurs' 101-100 victory over the Magic in Orlando on Sunday. It's not every day you waive a number one pick, but the 21-year-old from Croatia is now free to sign with any other team after he is the 19th pick overall in the 2019 draft. Keldon Johnson was asked about the move today since they were drafted together, played on Austin and San Antonio Spurs.
It was real cool. We was friends, you know. I mean, we came in the same year, so we kind of came up together. But I mean, it was just unfortunate things happened.
I've dreaded that for over 2 decades. It's the worst part of the job, you know. But I've done it every time, and it's just something I think that the players are owed that you tell them face to face and that the head coach does it. So I don't look forward to it, but it's part of the business, and we all know that going in.
All right, don't forget the free scrimmage tomorrow. Doors open at 6. The scrimmage starts at 7 at the AT&T Center.
Pro football coverage powered by Davis Law Firm.
Lael Collins' attempt to get a temporary injunction against the NFL to lift their 5-game ban on the Cowboys offensive lineman for violating the league's substance abuse policy has been thrown out by a federal judge. Collins was given a 5-game ban with no pay starting on September the 10th and now won't be available for this Sunday's showdown with the Patriots in New England. The NFL claims that Collins tried to bribe the league's sample collector. Even Dak Prescott was called in to testify on behalf of Collins on Friday, but now Collins has been turned down. Cowboys defensive coordinator Dan Quinn revealed a little too much information today about what Trayvon Diggs was battling before he recorded his 6th interception Sunday against the New York Giants. Diggs leads the league in pass deflections with 18, but was tested early in practice before the game on Sunday.
He really had a tough week. He was battling with pink eye on both of them. You see him, there's like just gunk and nastiness flowing out of his eyes, like, and big shade on at practice and just going and battling and getting ready, knowing that he needed the reps. But I think it really shows this is a true competitor.
And we'll see if Trayvon can add to a string of interceptions this Sunday when the Cowboys travel to New England to take on the Patriots. With a win, Houston will advance to the ALCS for the 5th year in a row, joining the Oakland A's as the only 2 teams to ever do that. Houston down by 1 in the 3rd, but they had the bases loaded for Carlos Correa, and he comes through with a 2-run RBI double to left. Next inning, Alex Bregman at the plate with a pair of Strohs on the bases. He puts the ball into center field for a 2-run RBI double, and it's 5-1 Astros. The Astros were hitting on all cylinders. Michael Brantley with back-to-back RBIs in the 6th and the 8th innings. The game was never in doubt. Astros won at 10-1, advance to their 5th straight ALCS, where they will face the Red Sox, games 1 and 2 in Houston on Friday and Saturday. The KSAT 12 Texas Sports Productions Game of the Week next. The KSAT 12 Texas Sports Productions Game of the Week this Thursday night will feature the Warren Warriors against the John Jay Mustangs live on KSAT 12.2 over the air. Both teams will be looking for their 2nd win in District 29 6A, with the Warren Warriors 1-5 overall. Had a very tough non-district schedule with losses to Smithson Valley, Brandeis, and Brennan, all in 12's top 12, but picked up their first win against Stevens 44-28 before suffering back-to-back losses to Taft and O'Connor. For the John Jay Mustangs, they're 3-3 overall, but like Warren, just 1-3 in district. Remember, they got off to a great start with wins against Laredo Johnson, Medina Valley, a district opening 35-25 victory over O'Connor. But since that time, the Mustangs have lost to Holmes, Marshall, and Harlan. This game is critical if John Jay has any hopes of making the playoffs.
We didn't get the start we wanted. We're 1-4, I think, right now, but we still got a long season. We still got a few more games, and we're going to try to stay positive and keep pushing forward.
They're always going to be a tough opponent. They're always going to play us tough. We just got to give our best effort, come ready and prepared. And I think if we come out prepared, then the score should reflect it.
All right, here is a matchup on KSAT 12 and also on the Texas Sports Productions. It'll be at 7 o'clock at Gustafson Stadium on Thursday. The gym is loud at Clemens tonight. Buffalo's hosting Smithson Valley. Home team trying to keep pace in the 3rd set. Brooke Soldy is there for the huge block. Buffs down by 2, but the Rangers pull away. Rebecca Williams drills one off the block and down. SV goes up by 5. Then on match point, Alexa Pyle gets up for the rejection. Rangers sweep the Buffs 3-0 improved to 10-0 in district. Big 28 6A matchup at Paul Taylor Fieldhouse. Brandeis looking for the season sweep of Reagan. First set, Rattler strike. Ania Hall smokes one down the middle. Reagan only down by 3, but here come the Broncos. Danny Gray with the one-arm dig. Carly Ferris the set. Layla Smalls the spike. The Broncos take the match 3-1. I have more highlights from both of these matches and from YWLA and Fox Tech on our website, KSAT.com, later tonight.
All right. Thank you, Greg.
We'll be right back.
Some damp spots for the morning commute. May want to budget yourself a little extra time in the morning, but then the showers and storms should take a break for the brunt of the day. I think you'll still be able to get plenty of work done outdoors and get some activities in. But it's tomorrow night around this time and thereafter where I think many of us will be woken up by some showers, thunderstorms, maybe even some severe storms, the potential for some flooding into Thursday morning.
All right, thanks, Adam.
That's it for the Night Beat. GMSA at 4:30.
Good night.